welcome to another interview with the sponsors of the Big Wool Show. This has been an amazing series. We have Gaynor, Mike, and Anna from Stitchcraft and Wizardry with us. Hello, guys. I think this is the first time we've had the three all together in one shot.
Yeah, it's actually worked out really, really well. Oh, yeah, that's actually well.
I only wrote three names, though, you know.
Oh my God. Now and putting the number in.
Yeah, you have to, like, if you tell me his name, I can add it in.
It's Lambert, yeah.
What is it, sorry?
Lambert, yeah. Yeah, he's our shop mascot, and we always have lots of adventures with him. Like Gaynor and him, when Gaynor works in the shop, she always brings him, and they always film some sort of mischief that he's up to and post it on their Instagram. So it's pretty funny.
The elf in the shelf has got nothing on Lambert yet.
Yeah.
Oh, really? There we go. I had to do some jiggery pokery because there's a limit of characters. Apparently, I've never hit that before. So Lambert, welcome to the chat. You guys have been sponsors of the Big Wool Show from day dot. What makes you keep coming back?
It's because it's awesome. Well, he says for the cake, but
we promised free cake for us.
He's still waiting.
I don't know who's making the free cake promises. It's not me.
No, look, like the first year when it happened was obviously super exciting for us because normally all the wool shows and everything that's got to do with yarn is always over East. And with us being in WA, we can never join in anywhere. It's, you know, it would be a massive expense for us to travel all the way over there to do a market over there or a show over there.
Absolutely.
And so the first year when you guys went online was obviously amazing for us because it meant that we can actually be part of something.
Yeah.
For a change. So that was great, and that needs to be supported. And then the first year was obviously a hit. The second year went even more crazy. I mean, I think you guys have grown so much in that time, and you know, so many more people following, and you know, people wanting to do workshops, and it's super exciting.
It is. It's a really fun event. I am biased, obviously, but I think it's a really fun event, and especially because we do get to have you guys from like all over Australia. Like I'm in Brisbane and Danielle's in Melbourne, and you know, like, so I normally have to travel to Victoria to do anything like this. So there's not much held here. So I totally understand what you mean by like it's just too expensive to travel, especially with stock. Like the flights are one thing. It's also getting all your stock there. That's another thing. So I love that you guys have been enjoying this. Now, Stitchcraft and Wizardry has such a fun name, and I'd love to hear the origin story. So spill, how did it all happen?
How did you start?
We're kind of big Harry Potter fans, so it kind of stemmed from there, where we wanted something yarn related, but also, I suppose, magic related. So that's kind of where I spitballed several names around the place and landed on Stitchcraft and Wizardry. So,
and that was like all the way in the beginning. So it started in 2018, which is quite a long time ago now. But it started as Stitchcraft and Wizardry, because obviously we're super nerds. You can tell that from, you know, our website.
The yarn name, hello, Yarnia.
And we just kind of came, because it's really started as a hobby for him, as a kind of, I don't know, to keep him busy. And it really snowballed very quickly within like 2 months from being, something to keep your hands busy, to something, hey, look, this is what I want to do, and this is going to be a business, and this is going to be heaps of fun. So we went with Stitchcraft and Wizardry, changed the logo throughout a little bit. And then went to our first physical store in 2020. We couldn't keep Stitchcraft and Wizardry as a name because there's already a Stitchcraft here in Rockingham where we are.
Oh,
totally
okay.
not related to yarn. She's actually like, she does embroidery for the Navy, you know, like their badges and stuff. So it
Yeah.
wasn't kind of interfering with each other, but it was more, we didn't want the confusion.
Brand confusion. Yeah.
So we needed something else really nerdy, and that's how then Yarnia happened. And so now it is technically, our business name is technically Yarnia, powered by Stitchcraft and Wizardry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
So,
That is so
yeah.
awesome. And I love that you get to show your inner nerd with your or like with the business name and all the yarn colorways and everything like that. I think that's one of the more fun parts of running your own business, is just being able to just let your light shine a little.
Absolutely, yeah. And I love as well how I mean, Mike and I have always been like that. We've always been like super crazy nerds. But I love how us being that way also allows other people to let out their inner nerd. Because I mean, Gaynor is a super duper nerd, but she would never admit it until she started working here, and then she went all out and just went like total crazy out there nerd.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% nerd through and through.
Now that nerd banner is flying.
Yeah, and not that she wasn't that before, but she didn't let it out as much.
Just did it well.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people do just hide it. It's not that they're not nerdy about something or they don't geek out about something. It's just that they rein it in so that the people around them don't see their level of crazy.
I know, and it's so sad.
It is sad. It is. Let the crazy out. Honestly,
Nothing wrong with
enjoy it.
Yeah.
A little bit
And
of
that's what I
crazy is
also
okay.
feel like people that come in, or either like people in our online shop as well, or on Instagram, but also people that come into the shop, as soon as they walk through this door, you can feel like how their shell is breaking open and like the nerds coming out.
It's bubbling out.
It's so cool. And then they've come up with all these stories of nerdy things that they've done, and it's super fun.
It is. That's so awesome. And I love that, like, it's like your job to crack them out of their shell as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful thing, because there is not a lot of safe places where people who are a bit nervous to show their nerd feel comfortable. And having like safe places, even online and in groups. Oops, I'm sorry. Hang on a second, you guys. I think my daughter's going to work. Yeah, Louis is letting his inner nerd out. Someone touched the game. I'll be back. I'll edit this section out. Hang on a second.
That's all right.
Hey, you need to come and say hello. Come and say hello.
Funny.
There he is.
Oh,
no, sit down. Oh, he missed me. Yeah,
you should take this out. You
That's
keep
Louis.
it out. This is hilarious. He was letting out his nerd.
He was letting out his little. Someone touched the fence.
That is his job, though.
It is his job. So I try not to punish him for that. But I'm like, dude, can't you see we're live right now? Like, I have a be right back screen so that I can slam that down and go and work out, like, look out the window with him. Like, what's going on, Louis? But yeah, so it is. It's a beautiful thing that you guys have made such, and you've got such a tight knit community of people who support Stitchcraft and Wizardry. Coming up for the Big Wool Show on the 12th and 13th of November, 2022.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not far. It's not far. It's creeping up on us. Actually, it's coming like a freight train.
This year was crazy.
We can't get over the fact that it's November, or pretty well. Tomorrow's November. So for you guys are sponsors of the events, which means that you get to be one of the people who join us on our weekend live streams. You're going to jump in and hang out with us and do a secret squirrel giveaway of that day. That's going to be so exciting. But you don't just have the live stream giveaway. You're also doing your amazing door prize.
We do, exactly, yeah. So everybody that comes to join us during the Big Wool Show goes in the draw for our beautiful door prize.
Wow. And that's so to join you for that, they need to make a purchase on the weekend.
Yeah.
So any size purchase on the weekend, and everybody just automatically goes into a draw, and you get to win an amazing prize that Stitchcraft and Wizardry have put together. There's also, I've got down here a discount code. So don't tell us what the code is, but you're planning on having a bit of a discount for something over the weekend as well?
Exactly, yeah. So obviously got to make it interesting. So we're going to have a discount over the weekend. So over the whole course of when you guys say this is it, we're open from that point until all the way until the end, obviously. It'll be a code that's going to be obviously released throughout, and then yeah, everybody can make use of it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So lots of changes happen over a 12-month period in people's lives and in their businesses and just, the world in general. What are some of the things that have happened with you guys over the last 12 months since we last spoke to you?
We've had lots of things.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, lots and lots of things happen. Lots of changes. I think our obviously, like, we've grown in this time as well. Gaynor, who was with us from the start since 2020, but was only kind of sort of part-time, has come in and pretty much done full-time.
Oh wow, big changes for
Which
Gaynor.
has been lots of fun because yeah, who gets to say they get to work with their best friend? So we've had so much fun, so many
silly moments.
I can imagine there'd be a lot of laughing going on.
Absolute crackers. Yeah, it's been wonderful. But then at the same time, obviously during this time, lots of things have happened with COVID and the economy and everything. So unfortunately, over the last few months, we've decided that we won't be able to keep Yarnia open as the physical location. Everybody feels it. Everybody feels that during COVID was okay. Everybody was home and everybody kind of had to keep themselves busy. There was a lot of support from the government for people as well, so nobody really felt it as much. But I think especially now that we're coming towards the end of it, we're now really feeling the pinch. So people start traveling again. Interest rates have gone up, so everybody's overheads have grown. And
it's crazy.
Exactly. And obviously we're not selling food or petrol or clothes, which are a necessity. We're selling something that is really just a luxury for people. And now that everybody feels it so much and people's spending has gone down, obviously we feel it as well. And our overheads have skyrocketed, when you're thinking of wages.
Once you're paying that the physical location just adds in so many more elements that you need to worry about.
And I think especially as well, during COVID, people have been trained to do everything online. So we've really been, during COVID, because we couldn't go anywhere, the online business has become huge. People have basically not gone anywhere anymore. We just ordered everything online. Our groceries, our, anything that we needed, we just ordered online. Our food, I mean, Uber Eats has absolutely gone mad because, nobody wanted to go anywhere anymore. And so obviously all those online stores that you have, they can undercut the prices of us physical stores because they don't have those overheads. So they can sell the same product at a cheaper price because they don't have the overheads that we do. And so obviously because everybody has been trained to just spend their money online now, a physical location is another thing that I've noticed with is bookshops is exactly the same. Nobody goes into bookshops anymore, and we've actually got this new bookshop here on the foreshore, and I make a point of always going to her and buying my books there, and I buy a lot of books. But I always make a point of always going to her because I know what this is like. And she has exactly the same. Everybody buys their books off Amazon. So why would you go, where it's like a fraction of the price? And that's obviously what we feel as well. So we've decided that we are going to be closing our physical store for the time being, and to cut down our overheads but still move online. So we're still going to be doing hand-dyed yarn from me. We're still going to be doing wood turned and 3D printed from Mike, and then we're going to be doing tins and stitch markers and everything from Gaynor and Lambert together.
And Gaynor and Lambert together.
And so we're still going to be there the same way as we were now, because actually a lot of our customers, even that came into the physical store, actually moved online as well. So
Yeah.
we do get a lot of online orders that are then just pickup, for example.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So we're going to keep continuing doing this, but without the added overheads of having the
Having the
physical
physical. Yeah.
location. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I definitely can understand that need, because it is a real issue that's happening for a lot of businesses right now, with real estate prices just all over Australia, and not just Australia, but they're just going through the roof, and then adding on the added issues of interest rates and fuel and all that kind of stuff. It is adding pressures. But I am so, so happy to hear that it's not the end. It's just a transition back to online. Um, and so everyone can still get all their favorite hand-dyed yarn from you. Now, that means that your commercial yarn that you import, that won't be sticking around, is that right?
no, exactly. So if you are after some, you better go and grab it now.
Yeah.
Because I won't be ordering anymore. So whatever, I mean, you can see behind us, we do have lots.
Yep,
So
there's lots there,
yeah,
but there
there's
won't
lots
be
to
lots
choose
for
from.
long.
But that won't be left for long, exactly. So, and I think the Big Wool Show is also a good opportunity because there's going to be a discount all weekend. So
Yes.
if you want anything, that's probably the best moment to go and grab it, because
I
yeah,
actually think that if you need something and you don't want to risk missing out on it, waiting to use the code on the weekend, I'd probably go
yeah,
and put it in my cart and buy it
put
now.
it in now.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
because everyone will be waiting for that discount code, and if you definitely don't want to miss out on something, I would be grabbing it beforehand.
Yeah, very true.
That's
We've
just
already
how I
seen,
shop.
like, specific items we've already seen dwindle, because obviously our customers that come in now, we do tell them,
Yeah.
that we won't be open for much longer. And they're like, oh, I'm going to need to grab some more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
have
while
a
I'm here.
date when you'll be exiting the store?
Yeah, so our last day officially is going to be the 30th of November,
Mhm.
but it kind of depends a little bit on what is left
What
by
happens?
I mean, there's no point for us opening if there's nothing left anymore, really.
Yeah.
So if that happens, then we'll transition out earlier and just finish up earlier and move everything online only.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Okay.
but officially, it's going to be the 30th of November.
Well, it's kind of bittersweet because it's one of these things. Yes, Yarnia will be going, but Stitchcraft and Wizardry is staying.
Yeah.
And so you can still get all your favorite hand-dyed and handmade bits and bobs. You just,
Yeah.
for people like me, it's like I would have bought it online anyway.
Yeah.
But but for
And
those
that's
people that are
really,
local, I can see it's going to be a real loss.
yeah. And it definitely is. And there's, for us, it's a very
It's very bittersweet.
very bittersweet.
Yeah.
It's very emotional for us as well, because obviously we've been here for a long time now.
Yeah.
We
It's a
started a
hard
business,
decision to make. It's a very
yeah,
difficult decision to make.
very, and we've got a really good relationship with our customers that have come into the store here, and we know
Yeah.
that, they're upset, and
Yeah.
and they're saying, oh no, and you can't do that, and you were like our favorite yarn shop, and where am I going to go now? And so it is bittersweet for us. But then on the other hand, there's the economy is not going to change anytime soon, I don't think.
I don't think so
It's
either.
everybody's guess, really. But yeah, but we've also said we're going to leave the option open for us to reopen again.
Yes.
So
if the
things change,
situation does change, then you can jump
exactly,
with it. I think it's
exactly,
a smart business person who makes their decisions early.
yeah,
You don't wait until it's the last second, and you get in there, and so that you can continue on comfortably with what you're doing next, and leaving that door open so that in the future, if you can jump and make a new decision, you totally can. I think that's to be admired, because it's quite often people will hold on and hold on and hold on until it's
delay,
detrimental. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
exactly,
it's hard to let go, especially with these sorts of businesses where you pour so much heart and soul into everything that you do. You kind of have your own little person is attached to it. Like, no, I don't
yeah,
want to say ego, but like your identity is kind of attached to it in a way. And
absolutely,
making that decision is such a hard decision, but it's so much nicer when it's not everything. When it's like a step back to something else, or just a pivot, or just a change. And I think that that's something really important for everyone to remember, that this is just a change. It's not the end.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's what Gaina and I specifically have been feeling. You know, obviously for us, we were so used to being together every day and, you know, working together every day. And that obviously kind of changed then. And we really missed each other, and we missed working together and, you know, spending that quality time together. And then to make the decision, okay, we're going to close the physical shop, which means technically we're not going to be working together at all anymore. It just wasn't an option for me. I said, this is not working. Like this can't, you know, that can't be happening. And so, so I'm really glad that we can just shift rather than say, okay, you know, that's it. Because we do have a lot of work. You know, we do have a lot of work to do every single day. And like with the dyeing and, you know, with the production of things and the shipping and the packaging and this and that. So we're busy every day.
Planning what's going to happen next, the more dyeing, the social media, the interaction with customers, the list is huge.
Exactly. And that really gets me excited, because also actually running the store, while it was fun and while it was great having people come in, it actually took away a lot of my time that I needed to dye yarn or to you know, do the social media posts and everything. Like I've really found that I've, especially social media, actually fell behind quite a bit because I didn't have enough time. You know, I didn't have all my dye days. I used to dye 3 times a week. They actually went down to 1 day a week because I couldn't keep up with everything else, you know, that was going on. So that's a really exciting prospect to, one, be able to, you know, put
to
more
ramp that
passion
production
into what
back
I'm
up.
doing again. Exactly. More dyeing, more production, sitting together, you know, sitting down
And
with a
having more
coffee and going
time
like,
to come up with something new as well. Like not
exactly.
feeling
And I
the
mean,
pressure to just like, oh, that'll do. Like that, oh yeah, that's lovely, that's fine. But actually to think through and have a really great plan for something takes time and takes energy. And sometimes when you're bouncing from task to task to task, you are getting the things done, but maybe not to the same place that you would prefer to do them from. And this might give you that bit more time to do that.
exactly. And that's something that we felt, because when we spoke about it the first time and said, okay, look, we have to make a good business decision, a good financial decision at this point in the economy and close Yarnia, it was really, really sad that the physical store is going. But at the same time, 10 minutes later, we were already thinking about, but look, we could do this. And, you know, we already started coming up with packages and boxes that we can put together, you know, with goodies. I don't want to say too much because otherwise I'm giving it.
That's right.
You know,
have some
immediately went like into the creative flow, and I'm like, oh, but you know, that will mean we have time to put together something like this. And oh yes, that sounds awesome. And so yeah, that it definitely had a really good vibe as well at the same time, even though it was sad, but it had a really good flow as well. Yeah, good twist.
It's definitely one of those things where people forget, like creatives, which is what we all are. If you have negative or high strung pressure or emotion from anything, it actually stifles the creative process and you end up working a little bit on autopilot. So it's like, you're still dying, you're still doing things, but the creation process of new things and the excitement of the creating of the new things is so heavily hampered when you're worried about financials or like just stressing about things like, so the enzymes that are released, which my brain just won't tell me the which one it is, that was released into your brain when you stress, actually destroys the creative enzymes. So it's physically near impossible to do both at the same time, to be hyper stressed and just totally under the hammer and be happy and creative at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah. And we definitely felt that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was like a matter of minutes from making the decision to the creative kicking straight back in, then it just sounds like the right decision was made.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, I think it's important to make hard decisions. Like I'm like that anyway. I'm kind of like the rip the band-aid off kind of person. I'm like, if we've got to make a hard decision, let's make it right now and move on and move on.
Do we
and
have all
see.
the information? Then let's go.
Exactly. And that, I think, has allowed us to now, just rather than, you know, calling it quits, to actually just change course.
And that's an important thing to remember, because sometimes that dithering, or, I mean, that sounds negative, but sometimes that dithering process of the, we could do, no, but, and sometimes the length of time that takes, it actually removes options.
Yeah.
And so that there's options totally off the table, because you've been continuing to spend the additional overheads and deal with the additional costs in couriers and having stock delivered, as well as the Australian dollar and all that kind of stuff. You guys know the deal. But having all of that, it actually can remove some of the options off the table. So I'm so glad that you guys were able to do the band-aid ripping, make the hard decision, which means that we still get to buy all the good things. So selfish. I'm such a selfish person.
And even more good things now, really, because there's I've even struggled to keep up with the hand-dyed yarn. Because I just didn't have enough time, you know, to keep with everything else, to keep dyeing. So I'm obviously dyeing a lot for the Big Wool Show.
Yes.
And
happy to hear that.
But it's got me really, really excited about being able to just keep, you know, dyeing more again, and keep coming up with colorways. And because, you know, like I dream colorways. Like I actually like lie in bed at nighttime and think of like a person or a quote or like some nerdy thing.
Do you know that doesn't stop?
I need to make a colorway with that, or, you know.
Like, I don't dye anymore, but I still dream colorways.
Colorways, Isn't that funny? Like, I think it's something
weird.
that probably just really sticks with us. Or like I look at the background behind you and I'm like, I want a colorway like that.
I'm kind of attached to my background, to the point that when I lost my last workspace, I brought the background with me.
I can totally see why.
It's just painter's tape to the wall.
Oh, really?
It's photographic background that I've literally blue painter's tape. Like, if I zoom out, you can totally see painter's tape all the way across and all the way down.
You know what? It does not matter, because it looks awesome.
I love it. I just love the color. And it's, I have been told that sometimes it's a little distracting having this much going on behind me, but this is my workspace, and in front of me it's all black and gray sound blankets. So that the audio doesn't go insane. So I need to be able to have the colorful and the pretty behind me. And
I don't think it's distracting at all. I actually think it pops you out.
That's awesome.
I reckon it just makes you stand out even more. It's awesome.
I love it. Thank you. I spend probably way too much time tinkering with this side of things. Like yesterday, I was like, a mic stand's playing up. I shall replace your parts that are broken. And I probably could have been doing 15 other tasks, but that's what I went with. Because that's
the
nerd
in you.
Sorry?
That's the nerd in you. So you've just got to embrace it.
My mum has always called me the Tinker Fairy. Because if something's broken, they just hand it to me and I play with it until it's either totally dead or I fixed it.
Perfect. That's a very good life skill to have.
I think so. I think it is. So the Big Wool Show virtual event is probably the perfect push to let everybody know that you're going to stay virtual. So it's virtual into virtual. So people will be so comfortable and so used to hitting your website. I think this is like, the timing was awesome. Did you plan the timing that way, or was it just happened to be then?
No. I would like to say we did plan it, but no, we didn't. We totally planned it. No, we didn't plan it that way. No, we didn't really plan it that way, but it worked out really well. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it worked out really well that way. And it was probably actually being so busy for the Big Wool Show, and having to engage creative, creative juices again to sort of come up with special things for the Big Wool Show probably helped in the process. To go like, okay, you know, we're changing course. Oh, what can we do? So
Mhm.
we were kind of already going because we were busy for the big wool show.
Yeah.
So we thought we might as well keep going and do the
Just
whole.
keep it going. Just keep it
Yep.
going. I have to say that I am very happy that it's all the handmade stuff staying. Because it's super easy to go, you know what, let's just keep the commercial and ditch the handmade while we work out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I love that that's not the way you guys decided to go. Um, because for me, giving up the dyeing was probably one of the hardest things I had to do. And I don't want anyone who likes to dye have to give up dyeing for any reason short of being forced to. Um,
Yeah.
so because I think the hand dyed yarn, especially the hand dyed yarn you guys make, it's so special and it's so meaningful, not just because it comes from your creative, but it also does really like the whole it's the nerd factor again. It's that
Yeah.
whole connection to your yarns because you understand where us nerdy geeks are coming from. And I'm so happy to hear that that's all still staying. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I needed to
Absolutely.
say that.
I
So,
can't thank you. And that's really exactly the reason why the decision was this.
yeah,
Because I don't think that any of us could really imagine being without yarn. Like to me, that's
yeah.
not even like the
Yeah, it
thought
becomes
of it.
such a
It's
huge
like
part of
saying
our
we have to
lives, doesn't
up
it?
air. Like to
Yeah.
me, it doesn't even occur to me. And like I know Gaina is our amigurumi queen, so she's all into she doesn't actually use hand dyed yarn. Can you believe it?
Wait.
I
Hang on
know,
a second. Can
right?
we just crop
Stop,
can
stop.
we crop Gainer out? No.
Um, no, but she has agreed to let me take her into the dye studio and get her to do some dyeing as well.
Oh, that'll
Um,
be so much fun.
but yeah, so Gaina is our amigurumi queen, and so she just pumps out all these creations all the time. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen our aquarium that we've built for Yarnia, which is actually out the front here, where all our water creations are in there. Most of them are from Gaina, like she made them.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I can't even imagine her not doing yarn or amigurumi, or like I think it's just
It's an extension of her now.
a necessity, yeah. And then like Mike was immediately like, oh, but hang on, but the 3D printing, and like I want to do the 3D printing, and I want to do all the woodworking. So I don't think for us it was ever a question of stopping the handmade.
Yeah.
Because also there's a reason why it's handmade versus commercial. Everybody can do commercial. You know,
Yeah.
every Tom, Dick, and Harry can open a yarn shop and can put, buy
Yeah.
stuff and sell it again. And, and I mean, that's exactly what's happening. This is how physical yarn stores go under, is because everybody can do it. Everybody
Yeah.
that's at home and has a little bit of spare time can
Yeah.
sign up for a wholesale account with a company and order their commercial yarn
Yeah.
and sell it from their house. Like
Yeah.
it's illegal if you don't do it
Yeah.
right,
That's like
but everybody
good
can
luck
do
if
it.
you
You just
need
gotta
an
police it.
insurance claim on that one.
Yeah. So, and that's exactly what's happening. That's why you have so
Yeah.
many online stores that only are online, because everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think what we do, our handmade, is what makes
It's
us, and what
your
makes us nerdy, and what makes our team the way it is as well. Because
Yeah.
everybody has like their little, everything we make is like one big pile, but everybody's got their input in
Yes.
a way,
Yeah.
and you don't get that from commercial. For us, the commercial was
A nice add-on.
a
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
add-on, an add-on to what we were actually doing, because a lot of the things that we did here at Yarnia were, teaching and
Yeah.
doing workshops and, helping people that come in and they have a problem. All of these things that were our main things. The commercial yarn was kind of like an add-on that we had,
Yeah,
because
it's
you
kind of
can't
like
really have a store and not have anything in it.
and sometimes the commercial yarns, especially like some of the brands that you guys had, like the I always say it wrong, the sheepies. How do you say it?
Scrapers,
Scope. Thank you. Um, that's a draw card that gets people in the door, because that's a brand that they know that they want for this design that they've got. And then when they come in to your store and they realize, okay, cool, that's here, I'll get that. But I'm also getting this because, oh my God, I've never seen anything like it. Because it, like, you walk around places like Spotlight and things like that. I know I've just said the big S word. Number one, the staff don't normally know what they're selling. But number two, the majority of the customers there have never held hand-dyed yarn. It's just something that they're not aware of. It's not that they don't like it. They just don't know it exists. And having a in-person yarn store that did both was one of those sort of really awesome amalgamations of like commercial and hand-dyed. And I love that that's what you guys had. But I'm still super chuffed that if anything has to go, it's the commercial.
It's the commercial, exactly, absolutely. And you know, it's funny that you mentioned the S word, because we're actually on the same street with them. So they're just down that way. Yeah. And it is so funny just how many customers we've had being sent from there. So we don't know which angel works there that sends everyone our way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's someone working there, or I don't know if it's one person or several people, but and they kept sending people our way. I was like, oh, do you want yarn? You have to go to Yarnia. And they sent them to us.
And like the other thing is the brands of your commercial that you get in, Spotlight doesn't have those.
No.
Spotlight spends a lot of time on their own brands with the occasional hint of something else.
Yeah.
And if you want something special, even in a commercial, you've got to find an independent store.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And like you said, they have staff that know anything about the craft. So we get a lot of customers come in that need help and advice and can't get it there.
Yeah. It is. I remember a discussion, and I think I had, I'm not sure if I actually was talking about it in one of these calls. So I may have already said this once this week, but I was having a discussion with a staff member in the store, because I was looking for a particular yarn and I needed 12 balls of it. And there was an entire shelf of it, but there were not 12 balls in the same batch lot. And I kept going, I need 12 balls. And they're like, there's 12 balls. I'm like, no, there's 9. I'd divvied them all out, all across the floor. I had emptied that basket out. I wanted 12 balls. And I'm like, can you get me 12 that have this number all the same on the back? And they're like, what's that number? And I'm like, that's the die lot.
Oh my God,
And they're like, what's a die lot? And I'm like, oh my God, okay, right. So what you need is this number to be the same. Otherwise, there's a risk that the colors will be just slightly different. And then there were 2 that were really obviously different. And I'm like, see? And smushed them together. And they were just like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah. So when you guys break up those big 10 bags and mix them through, then this happens.
Exactly. And isn't that just scary? Isn't that scary that you go to a shop and actually have to tell the person in the shop what they're doing?
Yes.
Like, that's pretty, that's pretty sad, really. But it's it's the reality. As we see it,
reality. They're trained as sales staff.
Yeah.
So they can use the till.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And we get a lot of people that just need help. Yeah. They just come in and say, I just need help. Like, I don't. Yeah. And I think that was part of what we loved about Yarnia as well, was to be able to give that help. Yeah. And so that is where the bittersweet comes in. So that's really something that we're going to miss. We're going to miss the people and, you know, the interaction with people in person. And hopefully one day it'll happen again.
Yeah,
and
never say never. It's just while things are horrid, pull in while you can so you can expand again later. What's happening? What's going on?
Oh, it was just the shop phone in the background went off.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Oh, good.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's. I think that it's really smart and clever that you guys are fluid enough to be able to expand and retract to keep your business going. And I think I can't imagine that if the situation changed, I can't imagine Yarnia not just popping up again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We're definitely going to be steering towards that. I think. Yeah. I think it's the tricky thing is at the moment to sort of to gauge what's going to happen. you know, like to watch it happen in our economy, and, you know, not just in our own country, but, you know, everywhere else, because that was a lot of the things as well. We had such trouble for such a long time actually being able to get stock. It was an absolute pain in the backside. And, you know, we had to disappoint people so often and say, no, we're really sorry. It's still not here. It's still not here. It's still not here. We had shipments that came from Holland to Sydney in less than 48 hours. And then they were sat in Sydney for 6 weeks. Coming, not moving anywhere, just sitting there for 6 weeks, even though they've made it halfway across the globe in 48 hours.
In a couple of days. So, that's right.
And exactly. And for people, that was hard for people. To, you know, because we all know what it's like. If we buy something, we want it there and then. Like we
at midnight because you were like, I'm gonna make this thing, and then it's like 2 weeks later, you're like, I still can't make the thing.
Exactly. And it feels horrible. Like for us, it felt horrible to constantly have to disappoint people and go like, I'm really sorry, it's still not here, it's still not here. So yeah, that was really hard. And it's been really hard for us to gauge whether that's gonna continue or
and I don't think anybody knows the answer to that question. Like I haven't spoken to anybody who's like, oh yeah, supply chain issues are going to be solved in X number of weeks. I don't think it is going to be solved anytime soon. And I think we need to prepare for that there will still be waits and delays, and just to have our patient pants on as customers. And just accept that the businesses are doing the best that they can, and that your angry emails are not going to make your parcel come any faster.
I've actually watched an interview with an expert from Canberra, an economy expert, and he's talking about the shipping delays and why they are. And they had put into the interview, they had put a picture of the port in, I think it was Shanghai. Was it Shanghai? I think it was Shanghai port. What it looks like, and there was like thousands of ships full with containers, and they were all standing there in the port waiting to actually get into the port. And he said this picture basically sums up what our life is like at the moment. And he said this congestion in that particular port, which has all our, you know, car parts, white goods, yarn,
phones,
in it,
chips, anything. So much is being made in one country.
It's not actually going to be relieved until the end of 2023. So that congestion alone in that one particular port. Do you think, you know, that's a long time?
That's a huge amount of time
to be waiting for your stuff. Really.
I'm just,
and we have, even with Handmade, for a while we weren't able to get the bases.
You aren't going insane. We've just changed cameras for the guys over at Stitchcraft and Wizardy. So everyone has to hold their tongues in just the right spot so that we can keep going. So we've got the big wool show. It's coming. It's looming. Have you got any plans for secret new colorways that you can maybe not tell us what they are, but allude to?
Yeah, absolutely. There is going to be a few very bright, how do I put it? There's going to be a few very bright, very Anna-like colorways.
So that's nothing like you.
Very bright.
I know, I'm like,
sort of like a little bit like my shirt.
On my wall.
Very bright and very nerdy, inspired by certain books. Just trying to not give anything away.
Right down. This is certain books.
By certain books. Very bright as usual. I think I've been really trying recently to not do so much pink, because everybody always says, oh look, it's pink again. It's pink again. It's obviously because it's my favorite color.
And for me it was teal.
And I think you just kind of, you would know how that works. You just kind of try what you have a thing, right? So mine is pink. And so I've been really trying very hard to not do too much pink. But that actually resulted in our hand-dyed wall here having almost no pink on it anymore. And then I was like, hang on, that's not right either. So there's definitely going to be a lot of pink. in this big wool shows. But there's going to be a few fades as well. And there's definitely going to be a lot of really bright colors. We're coming into summer, it's spring and we're coming into summer, so we need bright. I've really noticed that as well. I don't know if you have that too, but I've really noticed how my dyeing style changes during the seasons. Totally
be a bit more muted unintentionally.
Total unintentional. Like there was no, I've just noticed it all of a sudden. I was like, hang on, hey, look at these colors I made last year in the same time, and then they're kind of not the same, but they're the same style, you know, like muted or more flowing and less speckles and more flowing. And so and I think you can definitely see that now coming back because it's getting hotter. We're coming into summer and all the brights are coming out. So
oh, that's awesome.
Definitely.
Now last time we talked,
the same one. So.
I was going to say Mike was dyeing last time we chatted. And bringing out he's still doing his range of different colorways.
Still doing mine. I haven't had a huge amount of time to dye. I did some
because you were FIFO last time as well. Are you still FIFO?
Yeah. So I don't get too much time to dye, unfortunately. I did do a recent coffee collection. Which was quite popular.
Strangely, being coffee flew out
the door.
Shocking.
So I think he's probably definitely going to need to do a few more of the coffee ones for the big wool show. And it was funny because yet again there was one that had pink in it. And that was for pink marshmallows. So it was like a coffee and that was pink marshmallow. Was it pink marshmallows? Yeah. And that one was the absolute most popular one. Surprise, surprise, it's pink. Of course it was popular. So that was like the most popular out of the whole collection, wasn't it? So
that's crazy. It's like, well, we need to be doing less pink, except for this pink. This pink can stay. Also, these pinks. Also, we need more pinks now.
Exactly. Exactly. Although you got to wait for it because Gaynor's color is teal, like yours. Teals and blues. So if Gaynor is doing some dyeing, it'll be more along the teal and blue.
It'll lean into that way.
Because Gaynor has been doing dyeing before, and they actually all turned out teal and those kind of colors, didn't you?
You can't help it, can you? Like
you can't have the gravitate to it.
You do. Your hand just.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter, like, I remember I had a conversation when I first started dyeing, and I'd been dyeing all sort of the jewel tones and the brighter colors that I like. And I had a lady who I respect very much come and have a little talk to me about how I needed to dye colors that other people might like as well. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I'm sort of like, how am I going to do that? Because it was,
you know what?
Like, every time I made something that wasn't my jewel tones, it just seemed so off or wrong to me. And then I'd take photos and put it up and it would sell because other people liked it.
But you know what I found as well though with that, because I had someone say that to me. It's like, oh, but you need to do more of this color. But I actually replied with no, because if you want that color, there's a dyer over here that does that. So I've actually found the colors that I love, those colorways always turn out a lot more exciting and a lot better than if I'm trying to use colors that someone else likes. So like I couldn't do Mike's colorways because they're colors that I would never even see together, let alone that I would use. Like I don't like them. So but then when he does them, they turn out amazing. That's because he does them. So and for me, I don't know, I can try doing others and using colors that I don't like so much, but they will never turn out the same. And because he uses a lot of browns and more earthy tones and this and that, and like that's just not me. Like my colors aren't that. I will wear those colors. So I've actually made a top in one of his colorways, so that I love wearing. But for me to use those colors to dye them, I wouldn't, and they just wouldn't turn out the same. And I just always feel like there's so many indie dyers out there now. If you want something in a particular style, you will find a dyer that does that. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And this is also how you support, you know, a wide range of dyers. And I mean, I buy a lot of hand dyed yarn from other dyers, and like I ended up actually buying 4 advent calendars this year. totally by accident,
Cool.
because
Mike's
obviously
like,
that
"Wait,
totally
what?
wasn't planned.
This is the first time I've heard this news."
But you know, like you buy them at the beginning of the year and you just kind of forget, and then someone releases one and you're like, oh, that's exciting, advent calendar. So then you buy that one,
whatever.
and then the most recent one I've bought was from my friend Megan at Rainbows and Sprinkles, and she had one left over. She had a spare, and I'm like, okay, I'll buy that one. So I bought that one. But that's that exact reason that they do colorways that I don't do. Like they do different. They do, you know.
I've done a few of these calls in the last week or so, and do you know, just about every single dyer has said they buy other dyers' yarns, and they all have this conversation of why are you buying yarn when you can just dye it? It's like, but I don't dye that.
Yeah, exactly. I always describe it as, for me, it's using your own yarn is like eating what you've cooked. Whereas like using someone else's yarn is like going out for dinner. You didn't have to cook that meal. You didn't have to dye that yarn. You consuming something that someone else has made. And I think that there's a very big difference in that, in the enjoyment that you get out of it.
I love that analogy. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's so true. It is a different feeling when you're sitting down and knitting your own yarns. I don't know if you got the same feeling, but when I was knitting my own yarns or crocheting my own yarns, I'd be like, okay, I need to social media this. I need to, get a swatch of this, or, like my brain went into work mode. Whereas when I'm working on like someone else's yarn, I'm just knitting. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is like. Like using your own yarn is like work. You still use it like work. Whereas if you're using someone else's, it's actually for the enjoyment. It's actually, you're actually loving the moment and the excitement
for what it is. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, guys, it has been so much fun having time to chat with you. And I want to wind this up just because I'm noticing the camera starting to tilt.
Sorry.
So we don't know how long we'll have this one for. But I have loved getting to spend this time with you, and I'm so glad that we got to do this one from Yarnia, because this will stay on the website as well, on the YouTube channel. So we'll be able to go back and watch it, and and have some happy memories. And also, when planning out the new store, you'll just be able to refer back to this.
Refer back to exactly how it was. Yep, perfect. Good idea.
Yeah, it's now a resource.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always such a pleasure to have you guys as part of the Big Wool Show sponsors, and you always just when I see your name come up on my list of someone that I need to talk to, I'm always like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Anything ridiculous this time? What is wrong with us?
I think you've had something else on your minds, maybe. Like, I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting this on every single year and excelling every single year. It's just so much fun, and we hope there's still many, many more years to come with you guys.
Yeah,
we hope so too. And we will see you in the live streams on the 12th and 13th of November as well.
You will.
Awesome.
No worries. Thank you so much, Chantelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.